I am f22, pregnant and my boyfriend, m22, is changing. Throw away, and this is gonna be a little long. So for some backstory, I, f22, have been with my boyfriend, m22, since we were 15. We have had the perfect relationship, we were each other's first everything. He's made me feel nothing but love and appreciation. He's never put his hands on me or cheated. We're both open with each other and use each other's phones as our own. I have no reason not to trust him. I love him with my whole heart, we barely even argue. Recently we found out we were pregnant. At first I thought we were going to be on the same page about getting an abortion. Wrong. He convinced me to keep it, how we would make the happiest family and how everything would work out because he loved me and saw himself growing old with me. I agreed because I was ready to start a family with him. I loved how excited he was for this. At the start of the pregnancy he went to all the appointments, he started decorating a nursery, kissed my belly, and we talked about names. He was over the moon for this baby. I'm now 3 months pregnant and my boyfriend has become way more aggressive. He's grabbing my wrists, pushing me if I am in his way. When I bring it up he says he barely touches me and the hormones are making me overreact. Fast forward to this evening. We were eating and he obviously had an attitude. I asked him if he actually wanted the baby and he got all defensive, asking, "How the fuck could you ask that?" then threw his whole plate of food at me. I started crying and picking up the pieces of glass. He came storming out the room, and once he saw me bleeding from the glass and crying he stopped yelling and said he was sorry, and I kept pushing him. I flinched when he went to hug me and he looked mortified. Since then he's been all over me, cuddling with me in bed, asking me if I wanted him to wash my back in the shower and kissing my belly, and brought up the topic of baby names again. I don't know what to do. I am scared of pissing him off again, but he's been stressed at work and dealing with other problems. He says he lost his temper and he's sorry. He's been non-stop apologizing. I don't know what to do. I've been laying in bed typing this as he sleeps. Advice please? Update. I am currently packing all my things. I will not be here when he gets back. I am planning on staying with my sister for a bit. My family has been overly supportive and I appreciate them, and you guys. You were right, I can't bring a baby into this world. I've scheduled for an abortion on Monday. You guys said to tell him it was a miscarriage, but I am afraid on how he might take it, so I am planning on leaving a note telling him before I leave. As sad as I am to go, I can't continue to be tied to this man. He doesn't know where my sister is located. I am over halfway done packing, just rechecking for everything. I mostly just grabbed what's important to me. Thank you all for the support. I'll update again as soon as I am safe. Update 2. I'm at my sister's house. He's called my family multiple times, apologizing, then degrading me and accusing me of keeping his future baby from him. My sister picked up telling him I had a miscarriage and told him he was abusive and it was probably the cause of it. I do feel bad that he feels like he caused the miscarriage, but honestly he doesn't care about my feelings, so I am trying not to think about his. He's blocked from everyone's phone and social media. This will probably be my last update, but thank you all again. He didn't change, he's revealing his true self. Opit JS incredibly common for domestic violence to first manifest during pregnancy. That's why women are routinely asked at maternity appointments if they are experiencing DV. Please call a DV advice line as soon as you are on your own and able to do so safely. The behavior is likely to escalate. He threw a plate at you and you're unsure what to do. He physically threatened your life. All you should do is run, and if possible not have this baby. He's not stable, that's not a safe environment for a kid, and I'm not sure you want to be tied to a person like this. What if he loses his temper like this again? What if he loses his temper around the child? Please don't have this baby. Y'all ain't going to make it. My 19 male girlfriend, 18 female, tore down a picture of a female artist off my wall. I have a photo of an artist, singer, songwriter, on my wall. I love the artist and have been a fan of hers since I was a kid. She's the reason I play music now. Anyway, ever since my girlfriend saw it she's obsessed with it. She doesn't like it, and has always pushed me to take it down. I thought it was ridiculous. Honestly, this photo is of someone I admire, nothing more. She kept pushing it, so I asked her to be respectful to my boundaries and never pressure me again. And then, she literally took it down. She tore it off my wall when I wasn't home. IDKY, I'm really pissed at her. She's acting like she achieved some kind of victory and it's irritating me. Your girlfriend is over the top insecure. Run. Yeah, this is your warning sign to leave. Red flag is waving. Toss her to the curb. Obsessive jealousy about someone famous person who you admire and will never really have any interaction with is sad and scary. So what do you do when someone blatantly violates your boundaries and ignores what you want or say, then destroys your property? You could bitch about it, but then what is the point of boundaries? Or you could have some sort of action on the matter, i.e. dump that girl and find a bit more mature person to date. If she can't handle you have a poster on your wall of an artist you admire, she is in no way mature enough to be in a relationship. Completely ridiculous. 37 female. I'm about to end an 11-year relationship with my partner, 39 male, and I'm scared of the future. So guess I should dive right in. My relationship is completely one-sided. For years I've begged my boyfriend fiancé to see my worth and plan a future with me, but I've finally realized he never will. When we met, unbeknownst to me, he was sleeping with a girl from his work. She knew about me and all I knew was she was his friend who became a little obsessed with me. I asked if anything had happened between them and he denied anything and became very defensive when I told him he needed to deal with her overstepping boundaries, otherwise I would. I only found out a year later after a mutual friend mentioned it. He confessed and said he stopped when we became official, although I can't be certain. I continued on and for 2 years everything seemed very good. We were happy and then he slowly started to change. Just become more self-absorbed, hateful, critical of everyone around him. I thought if I tried harder and be a better partner I'll get the good person back. This went on for years and I felt myself shrink and my self-esteem vanish. He made me feel worthless for a very long time. I work full-time and have a son now 13. I don't work weekends, so every weekend we would go from my place to his mother's, who he still lives with, to have a day out and come back and stay at my place. I always got food in which he liked, as he goes from diet fads all the time. I never got any appreciation for it, as he states, "You only need to put a bit extra on a plate," making my efforts seem like nothing. He had never really made an effort with my son and I've asked him to try harder, but now my son is older, he says there is no point now. We always spoke about getting married and he would always say, "Good things come to those who wait." He is an only child and I told him we are getting old and if we are going to have a baby we are running out of time. He shrugs it off, saying I don't drink or smoke, so I would be fine to have a baby when I'm older in my 40s, but I've always said I don't want to have a child that late. We have never lived together as he will not move out from his mother's house. He is almost 40 and she still does all his washing and cooks all his meals. He is essentially still loving like a child. I bought a car specifically for making life easier for him and his mother. I would pick him up from work and if he had to wait 2 minutes due to traffic I would get told I'm a shit girlfriend, amongst other things. Over the years he's been from one dead-end job to another and I even offered to support him if he wanted to study or better himself in some way. He stayed in the same job, complaining about it. Lockdown was a turning point for me. I thought with him not seeing me he would miss me and finally realize my worth. He didn't and seemed to be living his best life. I still had to drive him and his mother shopping for food, but other than that I wasn't missed. I was at my darkest point. When everyone returned to work I went out with my colleagues for a drink. I don't drink much, so got drunk and went home. I fell asleep and woke about 1 a.m. and texts saying I was home safe and I'd fell asleep. He replied, "There is nothing unique about you anymore." I was destroyed. I ended it saying I deserve someone who loves me and wants to be with me. He's too hateful and takes me for granted. After a week he called and apologized for everything, saying he didn't see things from my point of view and says to give him a chance. I did and things seems to go well for a few months. He proposed and I thought this was finally it. Once my son reached high school I was able to leave my old job and get a better job with great career prospects, and all I heard was him saying how he is only in his job as it's easy and he can do so much better. Slowly he has morphed back into that mean person. I am stronger than before, so I challenge his behavior, but he just sees that as a problem. He makes no effort to come to my house. I have to drive to his mother's house 3/4 times a week. It's possible I've hit early menopause and can no longer have children. His response was, "What about me? I'm now at the point where I have realized I will be much better off alone instead of giving my all to someone who doesn't want me. I shouldn't have to convince someone to be a grown-up and plan a life together, it should be natural. I just need the courage to end it. I'm absolutely terrified of being alone and feel like I've wasted 11 years of my life." He replied, "There is nothing unique about you anymore. Consider the source of this as from a mama's boy. Move on from this loser. You're still very young and now jumping off into the best years of your life. In 12 short months, you'll look back with a huge sigh of relief. To address the feeling of being alone, you've been alone for years. The change will just relieve you of some unnecessary liabilities. Thank you everyone. There are comments I can't see on Reddit, but they came through on my phone. I wrote this whist on my break at work. One person called me a doormat, but I couldn't see the rest. To be honest, you're right. I've always been that way. I always give 100% so I can look back and see it wasn't me, but effectively it's just destroying me. I appreciate the comments. They are making me feel better and giving me a little bit of hope. A few things people have said has made me smile. One about his mother kissing his boo-boos. Writing it down has made it more real. I've shielded my son from all this as much as possible, but he's a bright kid and I need to set a better example for him. It's so hard to not fall into the sunken cost fallacy. 11 years feels like a lifetime, but the sooner you break up the more time you have to grow and live without him. Someday, this will be a learning experience and a small fraction of your life. Don't let this man waste any more of your time and energy. A year from now you'll wish you ripped the band-aid off yesterday. You didn't waste it. You hopefully learned some things. Life is nothing but experiences. This will free you, in ways you can't imagine right now. But, immediately, stress will disappear. Once you truly leave, it's like a mountain lifting off of you, when you no longer have to deal with a self-centered, coddled jerk. You should be a lot more scared to keep wasting time with this dude than to be alone. My boyfriend, 24M, ignored me, 24F, for 2 weeks for the sake of testing me. My boyfriend and I got together after he helped me get over my almost 7-year one-sided affections with one of my now close male friends. We've been friends for 2 years, and we have been dating for almost a year. Last week, he suddenly began to ignore my texts and calls, claimed that he was busy, while posting stories hanging out with his friends and some girls, talked to everyone except for me, and even acted overly friendly to a girl who was in cahoots with testing me. We aren't living together yet, for anyone confused. There's just some financial and lease issues. I was just so incredibly stressed, and I was so scared that I had given my heart away for it to be broken even more mercilessly this time, and I even developed stomach ulcers, which is a recurrent issue of mine, and lost weight. I even pathetically asked the girl what she was doing with him and she just laughed at me, and it broke my heart so much, and I didn't even have the gall to respond because I'm just so pathetic. And he, after seeing me visibly lose weight, before he clarified things, invited me over to his place, and I followed him home to break up with him and have a final conversation. Then he hugged me, and told me that he was simply testing me because he was scared that I was still in love with my first love. I didn't know what to say and I simply began to cry because it felt so unfair. He just kept pacifying me and I spent the night and I'm home feeling really drained now. He sent me a bouquet of flowers and a cake today morning, and is being warm like usual now. He keeps sending me apologies and huge worded paragraphs of how he regrets it, but he just really wanted confirmation that I was as desperate for him as he was. He is usually an extremely warm and kind person, but these 2 weeks, I was in absolute agony. What am I to do? Well, there was a test. He failed it. Wow, this is so ridiculously fucked up. Please take this to heart. Someone who loves you doesn't treat you this way. You've traded one asshole for another. He wanted to know if you would stay if he treated you badly. There's no excuse for treating your partner poorly on purpose. I'm not usually one to jump to dump him, but you deserve better. Nope. Run. He is love bombing you. People don't test each other in healthy relationships. This is a form of abuse and he was reveling in you suffering for 2 weeks. Now he is sorry? Nope. Run. I know it may hurt, but get out before this behavior worsens. You break up with him so you don't waste more years on another guy who will treat you so poorly. I know it sounds hard, but it's just that simple. You deserve better. This is immature at its best and manipulative and sociopathic at its worst. Dump him. Games are for children.